Hey, Alex. Hi, Kathy.
Oh, good morning.
Good morning. How did your match go last week?
Oh,
You subbed. You
yeah,
subbed.
I played. It was a 7-5 combo season.
Yeah,
Actually, I'm a co-captain of this team, and
fun.
we lost, but it was I was with a woman who's like a low 3-5, like she's appealed up. She's really a 3-0, and then
Mm,
two opponents. This one woman, I looked them up on tennis record, and they were like way above. So
mm,
6-4, 6-0. But I thought we had a great first set.
that's
And then
great.
like picking on our backhands.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. They'll serve there and force you to hit volleys that way, lob over your backhand side, and just simple things that lower your level. But that's great. I mean, that you hung in there and
Yeah.
that, especially for the first set. And sets are never, a six love set is always closer than it sounds. It's never when
Most
you what's that?
most of the time.
Most of the time. Yeah, that's what we tell. Um that's what we tell ourselves. But it is when you look at the numbers, it really is that close. So great. Okay, so let me know first off, the serve. So Kathy, you were first with
Okay.
leading with the edge of the racket. And what I can do is I can kind of go back and forth because I have like four ideas for both of you. So I'm happy to kind of go back and forth, give one idea to one and then one idea to another. But with you hitting the frame of the racket
Yeah.
um, in the video,
Yeah.
um, first the whole reason. Well, there are multiple reasons, but right now the whole reason why I want you leading with the edge is to be able to put side spin on the ball
Okay.
and to get the ball to spin like a Harlem Globetrotter
Yeah.
spinning a basketball on their finger. So when you go out to serve,
Yeah.
well, let me say it this way. When you played your match,
Yeah.
were you ever thinking about spin on the serve?
Yeah. Yeah. Like that slice. And then
Good.
we went out a few days ago and I said, let me just try it. And then like I couldn't get over the waiter's tray though. Like as much as
Mm,
I could do it, just shadowing
hmm.
that, when I look back at the video, it was all somehow I managed just to look at like
Yeah.
this. Like I just like intellectually I know, but I just
Hmm.
so that's when I said Alexis saying, no, no, you're not on the edge. So I said, well, let me just go like this and just do
Perfect.
that. Just
Perfect.
feel it.
So I'm not too worried about the waiter's tray at the moment, and
Oh,
only because I have to prioritize and kind of help you navigate. So it doesn't mean that I want you to have this. It certainly doesn't. But I just want to kind of fix and help you fix it in a way that will help. So in order to get rid of this,
yeah.
which is important because we want the ability to draw more of a lasso above our head, a helicopter blade, and then lead with the edge to spin it. Uh, my main priority right now is how much side spin can you put on the ball?
Okay.
So when you're, do I have a ball here? Here we go. When you are hitting, the goal is not obviously you were hitting with the frame in that
Yeah.
video, but I would want you to see how closely you could mimic that motion, but instead of hitting the frame, you actually spin along the ball
Okay.
and slide. And it's like it's a block of cheese, and you've got a cheese grater, and you're going to grate the side of the cheese. That's how I want you to hit. And if that is if that's how you're hitting the ball, then it becomes much easier for me to help guide you to get the racket on edge and stay away from the waiter's tray. Yeah, so
Okay.
so hold the ball up as high as you can, and if you want, you can choke up on your racket to kind of give you a mini racket. And so just hold the ball up nice and high and just slide along the ball. That's how I want you to hit. Correct. Now, when you do this, and I know I mentioned this in the past, the ball will always go left. So you have to make sure that you swing to the right of your target. that you don't swing towards your target, but that you, as a righty, you swing to the right of your target. So then the ball goes left. Correct. Like if you wanted to hit me, like hit the computer monitor, you'd have to swing toward Alex. And if you swing toward Alex, notice the strings face me. Like the ball goes where the strings point. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So if you swing to Alex, and if you want to
Yeah.
crack him over the head, that's
Yeah.
fine with me. That's your own thing to do. But just blame it on your working on your serve. But if you want to swing toward him, you'll notice the strings face to the computer monitor. So
Yeah.
what's hard for players to get at first is that the ball's not going to go to Alex. Even though
Right.
you're swinging toward Alex, the ball's not going to go to Alex. The ball is going to go to the computer monitor. And that's because the ball goes where your strings point, not where your racket travels. And it takes a little getting used to that. But players who golf, they get very used to the idea of where the club travels versus where the club is facing. And those are different concepts, right? So uh, if you swing straight to the computer monitor, but your strings are facing left as you spin it, the ball's going to go left and the ball's not going to go to the computer monitor. So if you would want the ball to go to me, you've got to actually swing toward Alex. You always swing to the right of your target when you're trying to spin the ball. So it's just something to kind of have in your mind when you're
And
when.
okay, but
Go
then
ahead.
how do I stand? Like, because Alexis was saying that I was standing too open. So is that
Yep.
so? If this is the baseline, okay, let's
Uh
just
huh.
say this is the rug is the baseline. I don't know.
Uh
You
huh.
can't see that,
Yep. I can see.
but
I can see you. Yeah. Yeah.
then I would be like
Well,
perpendicular.
I'll
I don't
help
know
you.
what's it.
Take your left foot and actually step this way a little more with your left foot.
This one,
Yes, correct. So now your stance is a bit closed.
okay,
Correct. And Alex is correct that you want your stance to be a bit closed on the serve, and that actually helps you to swing to the right of your target. It actually keeps it so that, like, if you wanted the ball to go to me, you certainly wouldn't want to swing to me. If before we can ever work on getting rid of the waiter's tray, we have to get you swinging to the right of your target as you're
okay.
hitting the ball.
So this
Hmm.
is it.
Correct. Yeah. And then just remember the ball goes where your strings point. So right now, like, don't move. Right now, your strings are facing me.
Yeah,
Correct. Even though you're swinging off, stage right or whatever, like you're swinging over there. Well, the ball's not going to go that way. The ball's going to go where your strings are pointing.
yeah.
Yeah. So correct. So at first, when players have a waiter's tray, they think, why can't I get rid of my waiter's tray? The reason is because they're swinging toward their target
Yeah.
and they need to toss to the right as a righty and swing to the right.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why I want you, even against the fence, I want you grating the cheese and as fast as you can. Like, I want you, just like a Harlem Globetrotter, moving the fingers or along the basketball as fast as they can to really get that ball to spin. That's how you want to hit. You want to brush the ball, comb the right side of the ball, not hit the center core of the ball. Mhm.
Yeah.
Now, one thing. So this is really the first idea that I want to discuss, Cathy. So I'm going to do one for Cathy, then one for Alex, and then we'll go to the video because there's really four ideas total that I want to talk about. So it's important, Cathy, that we are able to give you racket speed
Yeah.
because when you impart spin, you're allocating some of your racket speed into the ball rotation. And if you are swinging really fast, but a lot of your racket speed is going into ball rotation, then you have less racket speed left over to spend it on the ball actually traveling fast. Okay. So that's why you got to have a lot of racket speed so that when you do impart spin, you have enough racket speed left over to actually make the ball go fast. Okay.
Hmm. Okay.
The the technique that I want you to use is called elbow the enemy. Okay, so what you're doing in your video, which we'll see, is you are putting your elbow and your shoulder in a straight line.
Hmm.
So right now you can see, like from our vantage point, my elbow is directly between you and my shoulder. It's on a straight line. Now, to show you a difference, you can see I've just moved my elbow farther back.
Oh, yeah.
What you will notice with pros who have the biggest serves is they do something called elbow the enemy. So when they lift their racket up, it's like there's somebody behind them and they're going to elbow them. The reason this matters is because the number one power source in the serve is not your legs, it's not your wrist. The number one power source is your elbow traveling forward and up. And the farther your elbow travels, the more speed it builds up. Like a runway for a plane. It just keeps traveling and goes faster and faster and faster, and then finally you can take off. So, what we're looking to do on the serve is have a farther distance that the elbow has to go. And if you follow my elbow, watch the elbow go forward and up, almost like I'm going to elbow the ball, right?
Yeah.
So, you have a short distance that your elbow travels. Your elbow is in line with your shoulder. So it only has, like from here, where my elbow is, to here, it only has this distance. But if your elbow is a full 12 inches farther back, that's an extra distance that the elbow has to travel in the same amount of time. And so, and if you have a mile to drive in 30 seconds and someone else has 5 miles to drive in 30 seconds, holy smokes, they'd have to drive incredibly fast, right? So speed is just distance over time. So if you want more speed, you have to go a further distance in the same amount of time. That's why the pros will elbow the enemy, so they have a far distance for that elbow to travel, and they got to go really fast, and then they hit a big serve.
And
When you,
observation
yeah,
that elbow is what I see it doing on you is it's connecting your whole trunk
correct.
onto
With
the
that
arm.
coil, because it's
Yeah.
Yes.
isn't it part of the coil?
Correct. It is, but it is a separate movement as well. It's connected to the body rotating, but it also is a separate movement. So very good. Very good, Alex. And for both of you, Cathy. So, but we want that feeling of elbowing someone. When you think of it as a separate movement, it just helps that somebody isn't just rotating and the elbow's still in front. So it still should have this elbow behind you, but it isn't just the elbow, it is the body as well, which is why you also want to make sure you have a closed stance so you can get the elbow back. So the first thing that we're going to look at on your video, Cathy, is when you're demonstrating tossing the ball and hitting it with the frame, your elbow is in line with your shoulder.
Okay.
So I would love if you did that drill again, but you had your elbow back here. Now, you might turn the body a little more, like Alex mentioned, but even if you didn't, at least now your elbow has a farther distance that it needs to travel, and you will get more racket speed.
Okay.
Anytime as a coach, I'm suggesting someone spin the ball, I also have to increase their racket speed. And so it's like money. It's like you can reduce your expenses only so much. Otherwise, like other times, like you got to increase your income. Like you can only reduce expenses so much. Like you can only it's one thing to add spin, but it's like money. You have to buy spin with money. Well, now you got no money left over to even eat. Like you got to get more racket speed so that you, even when you spend the money on the spin, you still got a ton of speed left over to go into the ball and hit really fast serves that curve. Because the last thing I want you to do is spin the ball.
Yeah.
And the ball goes 2 miles an hour because you're putting all of this racket speed like a Harlem Globetrotter into the spin, but the ball barely goes over the net. And then it doesn't attack your opponent.
And then
So
I would say something else with, I think probably because she's the way she serves, it's always been kind of an upward motion. So I think with the way she serves, if she served hard, she'd never get it in. So I think that's why it's evolved to kind of be soft, because she knows if she hit it hard, it would
Correct.
miss.
Correct. So the way that Cathy hits the ball right now, and it's due to the grip, the ball has backspin. And because the ball has backspin, which is the opposite of topspin, backspin makes the ball float. That is, so if you ever hit a golf ball, you know that the ball rises. And it's the backspin and the balls, it's creating a high pressure on the bottom of the ball and actually pushes the ball up. Well, what we want is side spin, which is a nice little kind of tornado that comes down into the court rather than backspin and then the ball floats. That's why you'll see players kind of dink their second serve, because if they hit it hard, the ball's going to go out. And that's how they when players are in the waiter's tray, they gain control by slowing the racket down. We want the proper grip and side spin, so you gain control by speeding up your swing. That's actually the way it works. So
that brings it more into the court, rolls it.
correct. Yes, you can. So it actually helps bring the ball down into the court, especially if you can get it slightly tilted, like a little top spin on it, and the ball actually comes down into the court. So that's the first thing, Cathy, that I'm going to mention to you is when you do this drill, even hitting the frame, I want your elbow back like this. Okay.
Just start back, or should I get the momentum?
Oh, give me 1 second, Cathy. I understand. It's 20 minutes worth of work to go. Oh, it's Blue Tree?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was Felipe. Okay. Oh.
We have to go?
No. So, no. Well, can you give me even maybe 3 minutes? I'm so sorry. We have a grass service who comes out like 9 times a year, and we have some decorations, some like inflatables for the kids, like in the front yard, and so they're kind of like running over them with they're probably doing the aerating and the overseeding and like. So I am so sorry.
It's not a problem. Take 10, 15 minutes.
No, I don't even need that. I think now that I thought it was Felipe, the guy who cuts our grass, but no, it's if you can just give me 3 minutes, I'm just going to yank all the inflatables and just put them on the front walkway.
Okay, we'll be here.
I'll be right there. And just Cathy, you just imagine elbowing
I'll
someone
just
behind you. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Cathy and Alex, sorry, I'm back.
Here we are.
Sorry.
No.
No, they were just spreading fertilizer. I
Oh.
thought they were like, so I don't need to do anything. Okay, great.
Okay.
So when you are practicing that drill, even hitting the frame, that was great.
Yeah.
I just don't want you to have your elbow and shoulder in a straight line. I
Okay.
want you to just start back a little more. And not just as Alex mentioned about the body rotating. Yes, we want the body to rotate, but I also want it to be slightly a separate movement. And you can see my elbow is back, even with my body not rotating. Then toss, and your elbow has a farther distance to travel. And if you have a farther distance to travel in the same amount of time, you have to go faster. Okay.
Okay.
So
And
thank you
should
so
I try
much.
to slice the ball or should I do the frame?
You can do either. You can
Okay.
do either. And in fact, I'll have you do both, and I'll have you just kind of
Okay.
think about the frame at first, and
Okay.
that'll keep you away from the waiter's tray. So just do the drill as if I'm the fence, and
Yeah.
you're going to hit a ball against me.
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah. So even think about the drill that you did. So the drill that you demonstrated was just you were like this, you tossed, and then you hit the frame. So just do that same drill,
Oh,
but
okay.
just have your elbow back what feels
Yeah.
to be 6 extra inches,
Okay.
and then toss and hit in the same way.
Okay, that would
Mhm.
be easier. Yeah. So just
Good.
start with my
Yeah, from your YouTube channel, the YouTube videos that you sent me,
Yeah.
that exact same drill. Yep.
Okay.
Okay. So Alex, and I think I mentioned this before, but you are starting in an open stance, ironically, and then when you toss, you close off your stance.
Right. Okay.
So I want you to start every serve with your feet already closed, where your right foot is already down like this, where instead of your right foot here, your right foot is slightly across.
Oh, okay.
Then serve. Because your feet are not closed, once you toss the ball, you're having to find that closed stance. And what ends up happening is you foot fault sometimes. Yes. Now that's a little too much, but you got the idea. You can think of having, and I'll show you this. You can think of having your back foot, the toe of your back foot in line with the instep of your front foot. So if you see right here, I know I'm doing it right-handed, but the toe of my back foot is in line with the instep of my front foot. Right now, you're starting open, and then when you toss, you're having to move your foot to get it closed, and you're doing that once the ball's in the air. And then it's very easy to foot fault in that position because you're going to step wherever you want.
Right.
And, so if you play in a USTA league or something, somebody calling you on a foot fault, they would have every right to call it because you didn't start with the feet closed.
So tell me again, what's the in line?
So I'll do this left-handed so you can see. I want you to notice, in fact, I'll do it from the back view. So imagine I'm serving against this wall, okay? Notice that my left big toe is in line with the instep of my right foot. My left big toe is directly in line. So here's the baseline. This is the baseline right here.
Oh.
And my left toe is in line with the instep, the little arch, if you will, of my right foot.
Okay, like this.
Yeah, perfect. I can see that.
So not too wide, pretty almost even, but a little jog, like a half.
Correct. Yes, like a half a foot. Yeah, your right foot is crossed a half a foot. Yep.
Yeah, and I feel like how that works, and a lot.
Yes.
I notice, I realize also I'm always off balance after the serve, and that I can see how this balances me a little bit better as I go forward into the court.
Mm-hmm. Now we're gonna discuss that, and so let's look at the video now. I'm gonna discuss that balance because I'm gonna do something that's gonna help you.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of put the training wheels on your serve a little bit, and then we'll move back to kind of what I want. But I always tell people you don't change a tire while you're driving down the road. So we're gonna pull your serve over a little bit and change something before we can get you going back on the road again with your game. Okay, so let's. Okay, Cathy, let's look at your serve.
I'm looking at mine right now too on my phone. But yeah, let's see this. The elbow.
Yep.
It's completely off.
Huh?
So can you see yourself now?
Yeah.
Great. So what you'll notice based on where the fence is,
Mhm.
your elbow is in a straight line with your shoulder.
Mhm.
And I would love it if your elbow was back farther behind you, where you kind of felt like you're elbowing someone.
Okay.
If I put you next to my serve, now this is partly the body rotating, yes, but you want the feeling of bringing your elbow back. There's a great player who for this example. His name's JJ Wolf. Here he is at Indian Wells. You can see his elbow just like really back. Felix Auger-Aliassime. Like, look at this move.
Oh yeah.
It's like he's elbowing someone, right?
Right.
Like that, and you can see it's not just the body rotating.
Right.
It's like separate from the body. And some players it's easier to see than others. But if I wish I could like reach through the screen and just grab your elbow and move it back. Because like
Yeah.
right here, his elbow is basically in line with his shoulders. And then you can see his elbow goes farther back. Now watch his elbow go like this. So like the elbow drives up toward the ball. That's the power source on a serve. Well, if your elbow has a farther distance to travel, then it has to go faster in that same amount of time. So that's why I want you to just start to get the feeling, and it's really a throwing motion, to get that feeling of the elbow being farther back so that when you toss the ball and you hit the way you are here, like what you do here is just awesome. You can see, look how your elbow travels forward. Watch your elbow travel forward. That's awesome. That's exactly what you want. But if your elbow is starting back here, that's an extra bit of distance that it would have to travel. And that means if you have a farther distance to go in the same amount of time, if we did a stopwatch, you'd have to go faster in order to get to the ball in time. And that's how you build racket speed. You don't just do push-ups to get racket speed and get stronger. You want to create the environment for speed. And so one way to swing faster on your serve is to give your elbow a farther distance to go in the same amount of time. So that's why I want your elbow to go back. So that's the first thing that I want you to practice, even with the edge hitting against the fence like this, just to see that elbow is back like Felix.
Okay. And then
Um,
to start back or to yank it back or to, move
I
it.
know exactly what you're asking. I don't want you to yank it back like Felix. To put that ball in the air and then expect yourself to yank it back and then bring it forward again. We're not there yet. That was a phenomenal question. I want you to just start with it back. You could even get in the same position you always do, and then just independently have the elbow go back a few inches, then toss the ball and hit.
Okay.
That's fine. But I don't want you to toss and then think, oh, now I have to yank it back. It's a lot to happen all at once, while the ball's in the air. So just start the way you normally do, put it back a few inches, and just feel like, oh yeah, that feels different in my shoulder, that my elbow's farther back. Then you have a farther distance to go and you're going to be able to create more speed. You can swing faster than you are. It's just you have to create the environment where when you swing faster, it's a good thing. It's, you don't want to swing super fast and the ball hasn't come back down yet. And then you're swinging at air. So if you want to swing faster, you have to give yourself a farther distance to go so that you still time it right and that you're able to make contact with the ball.
Okay.
Let me show you, Alex. So watch your feet. You can kind of see how you start with that position actually, where your left toe is in line with the instep of your right foot. but then watch how you step with your left foot, and right there, you open up your stance.
Right.
So now your stance is open, and now watch your right foot steps, and now you foot fault. And by you stepping, you're now in a slightly closed stance. Closed means your front foot is across. And so I want you to start that way. Well, maybe you can see, like, here your feet are a little too close together. So then you move your foot apart, but you move it in an opening way, like you open up your body, and then you have to step across again to get into that closed stance. So
I
this
think
is
on some of the last serves I did before this, I realized that again. I think probably Cathy told me again. And
oh good.
what I have to do is I have to just, think to not move my feet. I mean, I'll put them in the right place. Hopefully, I don't know if I was before, but I have to just think, okay, your feet stay where they are, and then I can do it. It's been
Correct. I think maybe you rush a little bit. Like, you'll notice you get the ball out of your pocket, and then you immediately toss. Like,
uh,
maybe bounce the ball a couple times, set your feet. Don't feel like you have to rush. Um, into the next serve.
okay.
But like right here, you can see your feet are pretty close, and you go into your service motion. You're already starting the motion as your left foot is opening up your stance.
Yeah.
And then you
So
have to
I
close.
shouldn't move my feet at all, right? I mean, I should just
Correct.
yeah.
You shouldn't move your feet at all. So that's why you want to start with your feet nice and far apart and your right foot across, so that the left toe is in line with the right instep,
Okay.
as you described. Yep. Okay. The next idea here, Cathy, let's go back to yours. So what you'll notice, Cathy, is when you toss the ball, you then bring your left arm down. So your left arm goes up, and then it immediately comes back down. And in fact, for both you and Alex, I want to show you something. Let me see if I can find. I have a student. Oh, there he is. Phenomenal. What are the chances? So this is Anant. He lives in Dubai, and I teach him about twice a month. And he's doing a drill that I actually want you to practice. And by the way, look at his elbow. Look at him elbow someone behind him right there. You can see his right elbow going behind him. But I want you to watch how he serves, and he always keeps the left arm up.
Hmm.
Now, as silly as this is, and he'll tell you it feels pretty silly, what he's doing is he is giving himself a reason to keep his left arm up long enough. So long, in fact, that it stays up for too long. Because he is definitely someone, and he'd be the first to tell you, is he tosses and then immediately drops the arm. And so keeping that left arm up long enough definitely helps with power and getting the ball over the net and not dragging it down, multiple things. So I want the two of you to run this drill that I'm having him do. And he goes through a series of drills that I put him through. He doesn't always do that. You can see the left arm is coming down now. But it's definitely staying up longer, and that's kind of the goal, that I would want for the two of you. Is you can see now, as soon as Cathy tosses, that arm immediately comes back down. She tosses and the arm immediately comes back down. And we really want to practice the idea of you toss and it really stays up until the racket's ready to drop. And that isn't tossing and immediately bringing it back down. So I would love for the two of you to practice that drill that Anant was doing, where he kept the left arm up and he just hit the serve and he never dropped the arm. Not that that's correct, but it's just the opposite problem. And so you get to feel what it's like to have it up a really long time, so long, in fact, that it never comes back down. And then is there a time that it should come down? Of course. And we can work on that in the future. But for the second thing that I want the two of you to do is keeping the left arm up for a really long time, so long that it actually never comes back, or for Alex, it's your right arm, that the arm never comes back down. So a simple drill for you both to practice. Um, Cathy, let's talk about the swinging to the right. I should have shown you Taylor Fritz, probably. Cathy, did I show you Taylor Fritz yet?
I don't think so, no.
Oh, okay, this video. Okay, great. So this is a great example of how you don't want to swing toward your target. So Fritz right here, he is going to hit this. Oh, give me a second. Telemarketers. Okay. No more interruptions. I'm trying to give a lesson here. Notice he hits a serve out wide. So he pulls the opponent off the court. And then you'll notice, like right here, you think, oh, it'd be very obvious that he hits the ball into the open court, right? That's not the way pros think. The pros use your momentum against you, and watch how he wrong foots the guy. He hits to the same corner, and the guy cannot change direction. Pretty cool, right? That just gives you like, they're used to playing really fast players. So if he hits down the line, that's the direction that guy's going anyway. So they use your speed against you. So if you wait, they'll hit it down the line. If you're sprinting back, they'll hit behind you. So that's the way they think. But he hits the serve out wide. Now here's the crazy part. When he hit that serve, he was swinging toward the WTA logo. During his hit, he was swinging toward the WTA logo. As a righty, you want to swing to the right. Watch. He is not swinging out wide. He is swinging toward the WTA logo. If you just kind of follow his hand,
Yeah,
look at his hand and the direction his hand is going.
yeah.
In fact, if I move the video up and I take the ball out of the screen, if you saw this, wouldn't you think, wait, does he know how to play tennis? Like, who is
Right.
this? Does he even know where the ball's supposed to go? Because doesn't it obvious that he's hitting the ball that way? Or, now that we know it's not actually going that way. But if you saw that, you'd say, this guy doesn't even know how to play tennis. That's because he's swinging this way, but the ball goes that way. And the reason the ball does that is look at the direction his strings are facing before he hits the ball. Before he hits the ball, his strings are facing left, but he's swinging to the right. And that's what puts side spin on the ball. You point your strings where you want the ball to go, and you swing in the direction you need to impart the side spin. So he is hitting an out wide serve, but he is actually swinging to the outside of the doubles line. So if we take this yellow line and we extend the doubles line to the fence, this is where the doubles line hits the fence. And he's swinging, I don't know, 6, 7 feet to the right, 8 feet maybe to the right of the doubles alley. It's crazy. You don't want to swing towards your target. That's why I was saying swing to the right and make the strings face the computer monitor. His strings are facing that way. That's why the ball goes over there. And so when you are swinging, just pick a part of the fence that's nowhere near where you want the ball to go and look that way and actually swing that way. And when you swing that way, leading with the edge, and his strings are facing left as he goes up to the ball. And yes, he's pronating, but don't worry about that right now. Just think of spinning the ball the way you are, the way you know to. And that's going to help get the ball into the court. But isn't that a crazy illustration
Is.
that the ball doesn't go where you swing? The ball goes where your strings point. And
No, I don't know
right?
why I didn't learn this earlier, but it's just like, it's not intuitive. You don't, someone's
No,
not telling
no.
you like then how would you know?
Well, if if it were intuitive, I'd be out of a job. But here's for Alex, here's a lefty version of him. Look at the direction he's swinging. He's not swinging the direction he wants the ball to go. So the ball's going to go like that. And that's what puts the side spin on it. And then he hits behind him. Isn't that cool? It's such a cool thing. Alex, let's talk about your serve. Because you're doing that, Alex. That's why you're able to spin the ball. Because you can curve the serve out to the right, and that's because you don't swing towards your target.
Yeah, and
Um,
I now, I mean, I got that a few months ago. I think of it as 90 degrees. I'm hitting
yeah,
90 degrees from where I want the ball to go.
correct. That it isn't exactly 90 degrees, especially if you want to put a little less spin on the ball. But that is the swing thought that I'm always telling people. Like, you want to hit the ball that way? Think of swinging that way. Like, that's why Cathy was swinging directly off to the right of me, and the strings were facing the computer monitor, but she's swinging like perpendicular to me, which is a 90-degree difference. That's the swing thought you almost have to have in order to get the ball to go where you want it to go when you cut the ball with side spin. So
You have to
very,
have
very
that
good.
thought. You can't start this whole process without that thought. But it's still very challenging to then get the strings facing the right way at the right moment.
Correct. And that's why there is pronation, but I don't even want, for instance, Cathy to think of like turning the racket, because that's like, wait, how do I turn the racket but control the racket face? Like, that's why I want Cathy to almost have the idea that the racket face stays at the same angle. Now, we saw Fritz turning the racket. We don't care about that right now. Just Cathy, think of keeping the racket in one position as you hit the ball. That's the swing thought. I'm going to slightly contradict that in about 5 minutes, but I'll make sure that it's very easy to understand. So I'll show you that. So Alex, I want to talk to you about the beginning of your serve. And let me compare you to, here, I'll show you JJ Wolf here. Okay. So I've probably shown you this guy, but he played #1 for Ohio State. He was ranked #1 in college tennis the year before Ben Shelton came out of Florida. Got to number 40 in the world, dealing with some injuries, but he's coming back. He's in the top 100 now. And I want you to notice where the ball is. See how the ball's in the throat of the racket?
Yep.
And watch how both both arms go down together. He keeps the ball and the racket together at the beginning. Watch how you separate.
Uh,
You separate at the beginning of your serve. I want you to place the ball in the throat of the racket and have both the ball and the racket go kind of down together at the beginning. This is going to feel so strange for you because you're so used to separating. I want you to bring them down together and then toss and then lift the racket. He's actually the player I showed you the elbow back, the elbowing someone behind position from the back view at Indian Wells a couple minutes ago. But that beginning, I want you to have. I don't want you to separate your hands.
okay.
In fact, I'm going to ask you to do that before you worry about keeping your right arm up. The reason I want you to worry about this is a lot of times once you start a serve a certain way, it tells your brain everything else that comes with it.
Yeah, I've been talking about that, how like you cannot think about what you need to do when you're in your service motion. It's too late.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is a lot of times if someone has a motion that is a little incorrect during contact, but they start the way they always do, it comes in a package deal. It's like you can't mix and match on your own. It's like if somebody goes into a waiter's tray, if they start the serve the way they always do, their brain says, "Oh, we're going to hit the serve the way we always do." Oftentimes, I have to make what seems to be an insignificant change at the beginning,
Hmm.
but it actually helps your brain say, no, this is going to be totally different. Don't do what you've always done. And then you have a fighting chance. So you're actually very correct on this. I'm going to ask you to put the ball in the throat of the racket and have very much what's considered a down together, up together motion. I mean, it's like a beginner, right? Where it's like, okay, down together, up together, you know, like a student's first day. I almost want you to have that feeling at the beginning, and having the ball in the throat of the racket versus you can kind of see you kind of hold on to the throat of the racket with maybe your right thumb and maybe your right index finger, and then you separate your arms. Your right hand is going down, just like his ball is going down, but he's moving the racket with it. So I think if we change the beginning, you have a chance to kind of change later on in the swing. So that'll actually be your second idea. And then your third idea is going to be the keeping that tossing arm up. And then last, since you're up, Alex, I'm just going to show you this. I don't want you jumping at the moment. See how you're jumping? And so like you're in the air, because that's contributing to you falling over.
Yeah.
You are, I showed you at the beginning trying to stay tall, but since you're struggling a little bit and you're still falling over off to the right, I'm going to ask you to serve in what's called hit and hold. Kind of like in basketball, you shoot the ball and you just hold your follow through, you know, put your hand in the cookie jar, like a high
Right.
cookie jar idea, right? It's the same thing. I want you to do that until the ball hits the rim, right? It's the same thing. I want you to hit your serve and not move. You are going to uh, you're going to emulate a golfer almost. That when you're done, you're just completely on balance. You turn your back foot on the toe and you just hold your finish and wait till the ball hits the green, right? You're not going to move until the ball hits the back fence. And you're going to do so by being completely tall, on balance, just turning your left foot up on the toe. And you seem like a tall guy. However tall you are, that's how tall you should stay the entire time through, rather than bending over when you're hitting your serve. Okay. So your four things, Alex, are your feet. You're going to start with your feet apart and your right foot across. Um, then you're going to have the ball in the throat of the racket. And you're going to try to move them down together, up together, to not kind of start the way your arms normally do, where they separate. Then you're going to hit a couple serves where your arm stays up the whole time, as silly as that is. And then you're going to practice hitting serves where you just stay completely on balance and you just stand very tall when you're done, back foot on the toe. And if somebody filmed you from the waist down, they would think you just hit a golf ball, because your body just rotates and your back foot turns up on the toe. So your fourth thing, Cathy, that you can go through is, okay, this is really good. Notice your strings are facing left. And when you're done, your strings are still facing to the left. What I'm going to ask you to do is to do what you just did until about here, where here your strings are facing left, here your strings are facing left, but after contact, I want you to, and I'll show you in front of the camera now, I want you to flip the racket and what I call put the sword in a sheath. So let me go in front of the camera and I'll show you this. If you had, in fact, I went to a local like dollar store years ago and I got a sword, a plastic sword. It was like a pirate sword in a sheath. It was awesome. And I had the kids, they had to, chop the ball and then put the sword in the sheath. It was great.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So yeah, that's the mentality that I want you to have. And in order to, if you have a sword and you just go like this and you put it in the sheath, the only way to do that is to pronate and internally rotate the shoulder, and it just, right? So that's what the way it works. What I want you to do is practice spinning the ball like we talked about. But then after you spin it, turn the racket and put it in your sheath that's on the left side of your hip. Can you demonstrate that?
Sure.
And don't try to make it athletic. Don't think tennis.
Okay.
Think toss a ball in the air or toss an apple in the air with your super sharp sword chop the apple in half, then put the sword in your sheath. Don't think tennis. Don't think like a serve. Just with your left hand, toss an apple in the air. Now chop the sword or chop the apple in half. Yep. Now flip the sword and put it into your sheath. Yes, that's it. Very good. Yes. So what you were that was awesome. You would be a great pirate, or that was great. So what you were just demonstrating on the video was your strings facing left, and then you hit with the frame, which was awesome because that's what. And then when you were done, your strings were still facing left. What we want to learn is what Taylor Fritz did, where he was pronating and internally rotating the shoulder. Internally rotating the shoulder, you probably know. It's just give somebody a thumbs down, right? And your shoulder rotates, right? Or if, like when I was getting beat up in the playground and uncle, somebody's putting my arm behind my back. They're internally rotating my shoulder. And like, ouch, if you do it enough, it hurts. So the goal here is that you learn to do that. Now, Fritz, being a world-class tennis player, and the three of us could play him and we would lose, he's able to do that as he hits the ball. So we're gonna shelve that. And what we're gonna do now is work on doing that after we hit the ball. And then we can start to do it a little earlier, so it's actually happening as we contact. But the idea is very simple. I want you to shave the ball with your cheese grater. So shave the ball. Then after you hit, turn and put the sword in your sheath. Shave. It's like you could also call it like check the time. Yeah. So you spin the ball and then you look at your watch and you check the time. Yep, I can see your watch now. And then you're putting the sword in your sheath that's on the left side of your hip. Yep. Yes, that's exactly it. Yes. At first, you learn to do it after you hit. I will guide you when needed to be able to do that as you're hitting. And that's that snap. I'm almost 47, so the nurse was using a mercury thermometer under my tongue when I was a little kid, and they would take the thermometer and go like this.
Yeah.
So that move, or if you hurt your hand and you go, ow, there's a reason we do this, because that move is the fastest move you can make while, to move your hand. If you slam your hand in a drawer or something, you're like, ouch, you make that move. That's the move you want to make at the top. We're just going while you're hitting. You're not quite there yet. So I'm going to teach you to spin it and then have you do it after you hit the ball to put the sword in the sheath, which is that same movement, snapping your thermometer. So I want you to learn to then turn and put it in your sheath. Spin the ball, turn, put it in your sheath. And you'll learn to do it without pausing. Like I was just demonstrating, like hit it, turn it, put it in the sheath. Like it's very segmented, but the goal is that it's all one continuous motion and that it just goes right into the left hip. Yep. You got the idea. So let's go over it again. Alex, you're going to make sure that you're bouncing the ball and that your left toe is in line with the instep. You're then going to make sure that the ball starts in the throat of the racket. Instead of moving your arms apart, you're going to have the arms go down together, up together, right? So your arms are going to, put the ball in the throat of the racket, and both the ball and the racket go down together.
So basically, like they split when my body hits, they have to split, right? That's when they split, when they get to my body.
So let me show you this. Don't move the ball behind your right butt cheek like you're doing the George Jefferson. You don't want the arm back here. You actually want to bring them in front of your groin. You actually bring the ball and the racket in front of you.
Okay.
So watch me. I'm bringing the ball in between my legs, then I toss the ball. So do this for me. We start with it kind of like out in front. If I'm serving this way, so it starts a little bit out in front. Good. Now, so I'm serving that direction. So if you're going to serve to me, point the tip of the racket at me. So I'm your target right now. Yeah. Like you got the idea. Yeah. Yep. And so now if we're both serving that way, I'm going to bring the racket and ball kind of down in front of my knees, between my thighs, both the ball and the racket. Then my arms go apart. So it goes like this. So if you just follow what the ball does, it goes between my legs, then I toss. So the ball goes between my legs. You don't want to put the ball behind your butt.
Yeah.
Yes, it goes down in between and then back up again.
The racket goes, I mean, behind you, basically.
Correct. The racket draws a U. The racket just goes down and up. Yep. The ball goes down and then back up again. It kind of like the ball follows its path. It went down, then it goes back up again. Now, that's the second thing. The third thing is, here's a foam ball. I want you to, and I'm going to do this right-handed, but I want you to serve keeping your tossing arm up the whole time. Feel what it's like to have, and I mean straight up, straight up in the air, vertical, as vertical as you can get. As weird as that's going to feel, you need to feel what it's like to get that left arm to be up into the air. Yep. And then your last thing is I want you to serve without jumping. So just like you're hitting a golf ball and you finish with your back foot up on the toe, I want you to serve and you just turn your back foot up on the toe. You just finish. So like you shouldn't be bent. You shouldn't be bent over like this. So however tall you are, you seem about 6 feet tall. I want you to finish and just be 6 feet tall. Just as tall as you can be, not bent over to your right, but just perfectly vertical. Serve and just hit like that.
Got it.
Good. So great. Cathy, I want you to hit even with the edge, that's fine. Have your elbow back and do that same drill that you did with the YouTube video against the fence. So you can have a farther distance that your elbow needs to travel. Then you're going to work on having your left arm stay up the entire time. When you actually serve, it will come down, but if we can delay the drop, that's a good thing. And that drill definitely teaches you to delay the left arm dropping. I want you to practice, as Alex just mentioned, swinging to the right of your target. So if I swing toward the spindles, the ball's going to go there. That's the WTA logo, right?
Yeah.
But the ball's going to go that way. The ball doesn't go where you swing because my strings are facing that way.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if I swing that direction or if I swing toward the steps. It doesn't matter. The ball goes where my strings point. And at contact, the ball only cares where the strings are facing. And that's the direction the ball is going to go. Since you're swinging off to the right, it's going to put spin on the ball. So the ball is going to curve and it's going to suck the ball down into the court. And that way you're not putting back spin on the ball. And the ball spins backward and that makes the ball float, which we don't want. And then last, I want you to focus on, and you could even do it from this position, toss, spin the ball, and grate the cheese, as we just discussed with swinging toward the spindles. But when you swing off to the right, after contact, flip the racket and put it in your sheath.
Okay.
And that's what should happen as you're actually hitting the ball. You should be doing this as you're hitting, and we can get into that and when it's actually happening. But I want you to just do it after contact to learn the move, but it doesn't affect the shot. And that's kind of good at the moment.
Okay.
And then we can start to do it as we're hitting the ball. But I wanted to give you each numerous things that you could work on because I know you're putting in the work. It's amazing that you're going out and practicing like this. I couldn't be more excited to work with people who use, like, really be honest, like pay attention to what I'm saying, and then you go out and do it. Like the questions that you're asking are so on point. You're only asking the questions that would occur when somebody's paying attention and putting 2 and 2 together and understanding it. So it's awesome. So I just want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you.
You
Now,
got it.
do you think I'm going to be out of town, like visiting my dad, and I can do all this stuff at home, at the
Oh,
house,
100%.
right? And then
100%.
you can do it on, because we have another appointment, a lesson next week, so that'll be enough time to get footage, right? Yeah.
Absolutely, I would say. But if you want to, you can always cancel. People cancel all the time. The way you can always adjust and reschedule. So, and just so you know, if you ever need to reschedule, all you do is just find in your inbox the Calendly email that you get, which is the service I use for my calendar, and you just find the Calendly email for that particular lesson. So every time you book a lesson, you got a Calendly. And in the email, it says, do you want to reschedule? And you're like, yeah. And you can just pick a new time. And it auto generates a new Zoom link that we're going to use. It's all automated. It cancels the one, I'm immediately notified. And I would say once a day, I get a cancellation and a rescheduling. And I mean, it's just how it is. Like, it's just like any part of life and appointment, we reschedule doctor's appointments and dentist appointments. It's just how it is. So never feel like if you book that you have to take the lesson, because I don't see it that way. I want it to fit into your life and and your practice time and everything. So just always adjust. Don't feel like it's stuck,
Okay.
in the schedule.
So we'll figure it out. If I can get enough
Yeah.
time visiting and he can do it alone, I bet we could. Now, in terms of the videos, like logistically, what we did yesterday, the court didn't have, the thing was broken, the attachment to the wall. So we just did it to each other and then shorter clips. Like I videoed him and
That's fine.
I
Yeah.
thought, look, I think it was better than just having the tape running for 10 minutes. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You do it however is the easiest, but just sending me the short videos and putting them in a little montage, one after the other, or like a playlist is what I should say, on YouTube, it was perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, I loved it. It was great. It was great.
All right. Because it's almost easier for us to review, because when we do like a 10-minute segment, when we look back, like there's so much downtime, you have to fast forward. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely. Yeah, it was perfect for me, and I found it really easy to go through the videos and write down the things that I wanted to talk about today. So if you keep doing it that way, I would love it. That's great.
Okay, good.
Cool. Thank you so much.
All right.
Thank you. All right, and safe travels. And I hope seeing your dad is good. So
Yeah.
thanks so much. You got it.
All
Where
right.
do you have to travel for that?
Vegas. He lives in Las Vegas.
In Vegas. Okay, great. Well, safe travels.
Thank you.
Cool. Okay. Thank you so much.